Well, thank you very much. Yes, my name is André, and actually I'm a spatial planner at Boverket, and work for a unit called strategic planning. Maybe I should jump down from my balancing pillow so I don't appear drunk or something. So for Boverket, just as for other actors here today, it's important to get the understanding of the long-term effects, of course, the risks and the potentials of remote work and multi-locality and these type of trends that we have seen following the pandemic. So for us, we need evidence and data on spatial transformations and need to know more about change norms and settlement preferences. And another thing also is that we need to explore and learn together how we can make use of these new conditions to transform to climate neutral and social inclusive societies. So what do then Boverket do to get more evidence and to promote mutual learning? Well, we're taking some initiatives. We're quite small organization. We have no research budget of our own. So for us, it's very important to collaborate with different type of actors to get a better understanding of what is happening. And I think today's presentation and discussion is a very good example and opportunity to get this understanding. And one thing is that we're part of this Nordic working group on urban development that was presented by André earlier. So for me, I'm very much looking forward to this grid level urban-rural typology to see what can we learn about changes in settlement structures. I think this work will help us to learn more about which type of areas and what type of housing are considered attractive and how commuting patterns are changing. Another thing that we do at Boverket is that we gather and present data on housing market. We conduct yearly surveys, bostadsmarknadsenkät in Swedish. And our colleagues of mine in different departments that just started to look at the responses from the surveys. Were replied by the 290 municipalities in Sweden now, and the findings will be published in the spring 2022. But what they told me, what they've seen so far, just looking at the replies, is very much in line with what we heard today, that there are many municipalities reporting increased demand for small houses outside of city centers, also increased demand for second home, vacation homes in some municipalities. And but also take account that the questions were asked in a quite early stage during the pandemic. So, but since the municipalities, they respond to these surveys every year, so it would be interesting to follow the development also in the coming years. And is available on our webpage. And we also meet with planning actors. We discuss change planning conditions, map what's happening in the planning community, and we have a state architect at Boverket who's leading the Council for Sustainable Cities, and they commissioned an interview-based study with planners from different levels in Sweden, and is available at the webpage. And they report behavioral changes that the planners have seen during the pandemic, and also the conclusions that planners draw regarding the future living environment. And what the planners report is that one thing, they see the effects of social and spatial segregation regarding physical activity and health, but also unequal access to services, to public spaces and green areas. And for the future, they highlight that they see a need to develop attractive public spaces in cities and in towns, and meet the demand for better and more inclusive green space and recreational areas. In the interviews, the planners also reflect on the densification trend and asking the question about what is good density in the light from what we've seen also, lessons learned from the pandemic. And one important aspect that is raised there is just how do you meet the increased demand for small houses without this leading to unsustainable urban sprawl, for example. And just a last area of interest, I think, that is raised in this report and these interviews is the internet-based consumption, the changed consumption patterns, and how to develop a sustainable logistics solution, how to work with local service centers, both in rural and urban areas, strengthen accessibility and develop infrastructure for walking and bicycling. So these are some of the themes that the plans address in these interviews. So this is some of the activities that we do, and of course, just like all the other actors present here today, we're part of this experimental workshop. If you want, going digital, and at Boverket right now we have a new travel policy. No more flying to Stockholm, for example, even though we have 5 hours of train there. So that means that we're going to need to use digital and hybrid meetings to a much larger extent also after the pandemic. We have a new remote work contract. We can work from home 2.5 days a week also after the pandemic. So I guess we're part of the transformation taking place all around the society, which is also something to maybe reflect upon. Yeah. So this is some of the things that we do at Boverket.